Good evening. Welcome to our humanities class. I'm Mr. Mark Drawn and am the instructor for this course after a several year hiatus. Before I get going, I want to kind of give you a introduction into um, how I've been involved with this course, and we'll talk about the course material from there. So, some of you may know Miss Grossman, who taught at LHS for many, many years. And when she retired over a decade ago, she was the longtime teacher of our humanities course. Our department chair at the time asked if there were any interested parties in taking over the course, and I was kind of a newer teacher, and I said, "Yeah, sure. What the heck? Why not? Let's give it a shot." I had a vision for the course, which is very kind of broadly named. I mean, we know the humanities refer to anything dealing with art, drama, television, music, all those things. And so I was given a course. I worked with Miss Grossman over the summer a little bit. She introduced me to the textbooks she used and so forth, so on. Come the fall, when I started teaching the course, I had more students enrolled than we had textbooks, and I said, "Okay, well, here we go. Let's rock and roll." And so eventually, I got a pretty good feel for what we wanted to accomplish in humanities course, and slowly it grew from that first class of 21 students to the next year. I had a couple sections. At its peak, our humanities class had 5 sections rolling, and we actually had other teachers teaching it as well. Long story short, through don't worry, no fault of my own, I couldn't teach humanities class anymore, and so for about 5 6 years, I had not taught it. And then Mr. Cannon, our current department chair, asked if I wanted to, um, I guess, reignite the flame of our humanities course, and I gladly chose to accept that. So, really excited after that hiatus, knowing how popular the class had been, how much students had enjoyed it, to get this going again. So, our core question that we explore is, what does it mean to be human? And right now, there's 2 humanities classes set up. Hopefully, we'll get Humanities 2 running as Humanities 1. Again, my hope is it becomes successful again, is really a philosophical exploration of these topics that students are interested in, right? You may know that, you may not know that, but there is a lot of interest in these philosophical questions, although I don't call it philosophy because, one, students might be intimidated by such a word. Technically, I've never taken a philosophy course myself, even though I've read plenty of philosophers. I've studied plenty of theories and so forth. And so, what I like to do in this class is take pop culture elements, specifically ones in the humanities, and examine the questions that they pose. Sometimes we'll go more historical. For example, this past week we've been looking at Plato's Aristotle of the Cave, and then applying that to real world situations, such as the situation in North Korea. And so, students, we probably just had our most engaging discussion of the year based on that. Some of you may be surprised. My son or daughter wants to A, read Plato, and then B, have an interest in North Korea, but I'm telling you, it happened. So, just recently, we brainstormed the various topics we may want to delve into this semester, and here they are. Again, some of them are pretty deep and heavy, and um, for some of our students, they've never heard of the term nihilism, but some of them have, and they're interested in exploring it. So my job is to somehow come up with a game plan for the rest of the semester that I can guarantee you we won't get through all of these things, but at least best allow students to explore different perspectives through the humanities on these different topics in front of you. So, what will the course look like? I have a pretty good idea, but on the other hand, I'm always modifying what we do. I'm always looking for suggestions on text to use, movies to watch, speeches to listen to, as we apply these to various things. So, for example, you see love on here. Um, Art Schopenhauer, a philosopher, comes to mind. He had a fairly pessimistic view of love. That's something I'd like to, not the pessimistic view, but I'd like students to consider Schopenhauer's perspective and why he thought what he thought. So it's a good way of mixing up the old and the new as we explore these topics that I'm trying to make as fun as possible for students, since after all, it is an electives course. In terms of assessment, I'm going with the department's categories of summative assessment and formative assessment. I told the students there's probably not going to be a lot of homework in this course. We try to do as much reading in class, writing, whatever it is that we need to accomplish. And so, to give you fair warning, there's probably not going to be a lot of grades necessary in this class. Uh, Again, our goal is to keep students engaged, to have really good conversations in class, and to get students to think deeply, critically, and reflectively about these various topics that we've talked about. If you have further questions about the course, feel free to reach out via email. It's always easier, or via phone. It's always easier via email just because I don't have a direct phone line. And so it might take a little longer for me to respond to you. Whereas email, I'm always near or next to a computer. Have a great rest of your night, and here's to a great year.